Hello everyone, this is Crota, and I will be giving you a commentary between me and BooM here on Steps of War. I'm gonna take my hand off the mouse, and I'm gonna also do another suggestion that a lot of players wanted me to try to do, where I just focus on the camera movements of one player. And I will go ahead and reveal Fog of War later, as I really like this particular matchup here on Steps of War. It really opened my eyes and made me realize a lot of things about StarCraft 2 and high-level diamond play. So here you have me spawning at the north side of the map on Steps of War as the red Terran player. Meanwhile, BooM, obviously the blue Protoss player, over here on the south side of the map, or over on the south side of the map, as I obviously cannot show you what exactly he's doing. Now, on Steps of War, as I've said before in a number of times, the walking distance between these two locations is very small. On top of that, the flying distance between these two locations is even smaller. So it really opens up for a lot of very aggressive play. Also, it is very difficult for a Terran player to try to do any Reaper scouting on this map, just because the front door has those ledges, and one stalker or two stalkers sitting on those front doors can easily see this. You now see BooM coming in with one probe, able to get some additional scouting onto my base, and now able to just see I'm doing pretty much a standard build here, nothing too out of the ordinary. A standard 12 racks. I will be getting a refinery up in just a second. There we go. I made sure that the SCV did not build his refinery with 5 minerals in hand, and now we have one SCV just trying to chase after that probe there, trying to fight back and forth once again. So that SCV will be able to get some damage dealt, and then we're going to have another SCV come out as well and do some scouting. So in comes the scouting SCV. No, now transferring SCVs as well, as I do not want my SCV to take any real damage and get taken down there. And now that probe will be forced to pull out of that base. Now, barracks is already up and running, and I'm just pretty much trying to do a standard opening, trying to get my marine out, trying to get my command center, and then figuring out what exactly BooM's strategy is going to be. And I'm going to be able to scout him out with a couple SCVs and then take a look into his base. So taking a look into his base in just a moment, you're going to see this one SCV now just moving around, also leaving one SCV in the middle of the field, and now I believe a probe is getting attacked over there, fighting back and forth. That probe, however, is relatively low on hit points, and I'm now quickly going to be able to start scouting out and figure out what exactly is happening. I'm also activating the Xel'Naga watchtowers, wanting to make sure that if there's any flying units or any drops that try to come into my base, I will quickly be able to spot this. I do see a double refinery on this build, so I know that he's going to pretty much stick into one base play, but I don't know exactly what to expect from my opponent. He does have that cybernetics core already up, he has the gateway up, and now going for a double gas. He could be going for a number of different options. He could be going for a 4-gate push with stalkers and sentries, zealots and sentries. The number of possibilities is simply endless. So I decided to build a bunker on my front door, making sure that if a stalker tries to walk up my ramp, that I will be able to, well, sorry, I never realized how jerky my camera motions are. And I would be able to stop it with a marine and perhaps a marauder as well. You know what? I'm going to take off the camera and now make things a little bit more smooth. So you do see 2 marines down here, and now this bunker in play. Still activating this Xel'Naga watchtower, making sure nothing flies around in from that north side, and now going for a 2 racks build, just because I know my opponent is currently sitting in a 1-base build off of double gas. I'm concerned about what he may be trying to do. You do see that early stalker now trying to come up this ramp. That bunker with a range of 7, marauder able to deal a lot of damage, and now I'm going for a command center, and I think this is going to be one of my mistakes here. I'm going for a command center when I know that my opponent was pretty much trying to stick into 1-base play. I think that one of the lessons that I'm learning, if you see double gas, do not try to do an early expansion. If you do an early expansion, you're pretty much going to be in trouble, as a lot of units will be knocking on your front door in just a moment. We also have a supply depot over here. I'm trying to get and build as much sight into my base. Also, a barracks now down, now training up, or with a reactor, going to be able to train up some marines as well. I realize that my opponent may be trying to go for void rays. So with void rays, I want to make sure that I have enough marines and have stim to try to get underneath those marines and shoot them out of the sky. One bunker on this front door. I can't pull up the production tab, otherwise you will see what my opponent is doing, and I will rewind this replay and show you guys how exactly this game really played out. So 2 marines now at this front door as well, just trying to continue to macro up an even stronger army. You do see I am going double refinery and also getting a Ghost Academy, so the Ghost Academy will allow me to train Ghost, obviously, and now with this other command center as well, I will also be able to upgrade it to an orbital command in order to get some additional scanner sweeps, just in case he's going for Dark Templars. So I'm thinking, okay, if he's going DTs, I'm covered. If he's going for Void Rays, I'm covered. If he's going for Immortals, you know, I should be covered as well. But I do not see any observers in my base so far. I'm taking a look around my base. I don't see any observers. I try to do the little camera scroll. If anyone has played against me, you know that I'm really good about being able to detect observers and that a little bit of that distortion. We now see a Ghost also coming out. So Marines, Marauders, Ghost on this front door, and now trying to go up into a higher tier tech as well. This Orbital Command just sitting here gathering energy. I want to make sure that this bunker is completed before I move out with my army and try to do anything new. You see another Ghost being trained, more Marines also being trained as well. The stim pack research has been completed. So stim pack on these Marines will be able to shoot down any Immortals relatively quickly, or so I hope. We have a couple of Marines now making their way over here to the low ground and now able to also protect this expansion as well. I will be able to lift off this location and then land it here in just a moment. So I'm trying to get into the economic game, trying to get a strong economy going in order to increase this game and just make it even better. I realize that I don't have much to talk about when I'm only focusing on one player's view. So, the action will be coming up in just a moment. You can take a look. We're about that at the 9-minute mark, or 6 minutes into this game. And at 6 minutes into this game, you're going to quickly see how BooM is just going to be able to just simply roll over my front door in just a second. I am getting a reactor, getting that starport, trying to train double medevacs as well, salvaging my bunker in order to get some additional minerals and perhaps continue to train up more and more units. So I have a group of Marines, a fairly decent sized army here, a decent group of units. Marauders have stim, they have those concussive shells, able to counteract those units, and now in come Stalkers, Immortals, and Void Rays. And really nice force field. They were splitting up my army. Phoenix is also in the air as well, just in case there was a siege tank. Another force field coming in. I do get one EMP shockwave off, but that is simply not enough. Void Ray is able to damage the air. 3 Immortals now on the ground, and wow, just what a great army combination. Void Rays in the air, Immortals there to handle any Marauders, and then the Void Rays, Sentries, and Sentry able to just stop any of that early aggression. I do bring over an SCV to try to fight this back, also trying to double train Vikings in order to shoot down some of these units as well, trying to get down even more EMP shockwave. Immortals quickly coming in, and Immortals deal a pretty decent 20 damage towards, or 50 damage towards those Marauders. Void Ray simply able to roll over this whole entire base, and that simply is GG. There's nothing I could have done. I didn't do enough scouting. But I have never seen this 1-1-1 build coming in from the Protoss player. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this timer now and simply examine the Protoss player's particular build and how strong it was during this portion of the game. Taking a look at his build, you see one gateway, also getting that cybernetics core and getting that robotics facility. All of this off of double gas. Now, one of the key things to note about this 1-1-1 build, the Stargate robotics facility, Stargate robotics facility and gateway build, is that you can train 1 Immortal and 1 Void Ray off of 1 gas as long as you do not try to chrono boost the robotics facility. You get about 225 to 248 gas every minute. If you start chrono boosting the robotics facility, unless you have a surplus of gas, you will not be able to continually train up units. I believe BooM actually does chrono boost here just because he's able to. He's also massing up and trying to gather more and more gas as well, or in order to start building a Void Ray in just a moment. Taking a look at the army tab, you can see both sides of the army fairly even so far. 175 mineral versus 200 mineral and 25 gas as well. Me with my bunker on his front door, and now trying to get this command center. Taking a look at the harvester count, you can see BooM having a significant advantage in terms of the harvester count. 30 harvesters compared to 24. I'm constantly being used to call down more and more mules as well. Army wise, you can see he's also ahead of me at 43/50 compared to 38/46. So that early chrono boost really helping him out this game. He does have 2 warp gates currently in play, and with that warp gate research, he will also be able to warp in units halfway across the field very quickly. So now training up 1 Void Ray, getting some early Zealots, getting that early Sentry as well. The early Sentry is absolutely critical in this fight, because you want the Sentry to have enough energy for 3 to 4 force fields. So if you're able to get the Sentry with a lot of force field energy, you can just block the choke point And as a Terran player just tries to move out and expand, you simply roll them over. At no time in my build would I have been able to try to take this location here, as one force field would have been enough to simply take it down. My natural response would have been to lift up this orbital command and try to take this expansion. However, his army, you saw how effective it was, and now you can see his army all of a sudden just being able to outproduce me. 1 Stargate, 1 robotics facility, and 2 warp gates, able to produce a 1225 mineral army very, very quickly. You can see that warp gate continuing to just train in and warp in more and more units over here. He does still have an economic advantage. Taking a look at his army size now, 52 compared to 62 food, so he has a 10 population difference between these two bases right now, and an even larger difference in terms of the army size, 1700 versus 700. I do in fact have some of that research, the combat shield, the stim pack. I've researched a lot of my early units so that they're stronger. However, BooM did not spend any of his resources in terms of research except for that warp gate, and that warp gate was just pretty much there to increase the build time on these void rays. On those zealots and those sentries and stalkers. You're gonna quickly see destructible rocks being used and abused by the Protoss player, getting fully charged up, and now those void rays fully charged up will simply be able to come in here and push very, very easily. Coming in, you now see my army trying to push down, but a 1200 or a 2000 mineral army this early in the game, trapping off more and more of my units. EMP Shockwave, I'm a little bit late there, simply getting taken down, and now that is the game. So a very, very strong, a very, very nice push coming in from BooM. BooM opening up with a 2-gate or 1-gate or 1-1-1 build into that additional warp gate as well, able to just simply roll over my base so quickly. You can see his army sitting at 1950 this early in the game, and I was really just caught off guard. If I had perhaps not gotten my command center, if I had scouted out my opponent, knowing that he went for double gas, and realizing that he went for double gas, realizing that he would not have been able to early expand, I should have just tried to build a stronger army anyways. Anyways, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay of me just simply getting schooled here on Steps of War. And hats off to BooM. BooM, you played a great game. And thanks for watching, thanks for listening.